So from this point onwards, this lecture is going to become application and not theory. We have built our toolbox. We now know the product rule. We now know the quotient rule, and now we know the power rule, right? But mathematics isn't about memorizing tools, it's about knowing when to use them, right? So let's solve some actual Cambridge questions, and I will be doing it very, very fast. So if I write down log x plus 3 to the base of 2 equal to 4, how do I convert it? I get 2 power 4 is equal to x plus 3. So x is going to be equal to 13. But is this the answer? No. You have to put it back in here and see if the domain restriction allows it. So when I put x is equal to 3 in here, I get log 16, which is greater than 0. Therefore, yes, it is a valid answer, right? Now, this is a 1 mark habit that saves 2 mark mistakes. Always check the domain, okay? Now, if I write down log x to the base of 3, and I will change color, log x to the base of 3 plus log x minus 2 to the base of 3 is equal to 2. Now, from here, I can see that it is, so x minus 2 has to be greater than 0. And from here, I can see that x has to be greater than 0. So x has to be greater than 0 on the number line. This is like this, and x has to be greater than 2. So on the number line, it is this. So we will use the common part. So our domain restriction is x is greater than 2, right? Now let's solve it. So this becomes x times x minus 2 log of this to the base of 3 is equal to 2. So this is 9 is equal to x square minus 2x. Now bring everything to one side and apply the quadratic formula. So you get x is equal to 1 plus and minus under root of 10. Now we cannot use both these answers because one of it is going to survive because the other is going to violate our domain restriction. So x is equal to 1 plus root 10 is the only answer that's going to survive, because if you put the other answer, which is, I will put it in red, x is equal to 1 minus under root 10, this gives us a negative answer, and when you put it in here, this violates our domain restriction. It even violates our restriction here in the second term, so the other answer is going to be rejected. Now, this is exactly why I insisted on domain restrictions in our part 1. Cambridge gives you 2 algebraic answers usually, and only one mathematical answer survives, but sometimes both of them does as well, and you have to check always. Now, if I give you 2 times log x to the base of 5 is equal to 3. Now, what do we do first? That's right, we do the power rule backwards. So this becomes x square base 5 for log is equal to 3. So this becomes 125 equals to x square. So x is going to be equal to plus and minus 5 root 5. But we are not going to use negative 5 root 5 again, because that's going to violate our domain restriction, which is greater than 0. Okay. Logarithms only accept positive arguments, okay? Therefore, x is equal to negative 5 root 5 is going to be rejected. This is probably the easiest A grade mark to throw away. Now, if I give you another question, log x is equal to log y. So what must be true? That x is equal to y, because the bases are same. Now, you will contest that there is no base, but I told you multiple times that when there is no base, we will treat it as 10, okay? Now, if I write down that instead log x to the base 2 is equal to log y to the base of 3, now you cannot compare x with y because the bases are different, right? So now x is not equal to y, okay? Now, if we bring everything together now in Cambridge style, so this is going to look something like this. So log x plus 1 base 2 plus log x minus 3 base 2 is equal to 3. Now, what do we have to do first? We have to combine the logarithms first. So this becomes, because they are adding, so we are going to do this. This is the argument for log to the base of 2 and is equal to 3. So this is x squared minus 3x minus 2x minus 3 is equal to 8. 8 comes here, so minus 8. So this becomes negative 11 is equal to 0. Now, so this gives me x is equal to 1 plus and minus 2 root 3. Perhaps, right? Yeah, that's right. So now we are going to just keep, because our domain restriction says that x plus 1 is greater than 0 and x minus 3 is greater than 0, right? So x is greater than negative 1 and x is greater than 3. So we will use the common part, x is greater than 3. So now the negative part gets rejected and we will just use one answer. X is going to be 1 plus 2 root 3. That's it. So this survives, the other one gets rejected. Now, did you notice something? The algebra wasn't difficult, the thinking was. Now, one advice that I'm going to give you is that whenever Cambridge gives you logarithmic equations, follow exactly 4 steps. The first step is going to be to combine the logarithms first. Then you convert to exponential form. Then you solve the algebra. And then you check the domain. This is very, very important because after these 3 steps are, it's seldom that students make mistakes here, right? But this is the most frequent bit that students forget and lose the marks, hence. So I'll leave you with one final question, and I want you guys to comment the answers in the answer section, in the comment section. So if log of x plus 4 to the base of 5 minus log of x minus 2 to the base of 5 is equal to 1, I want you guys to solve for x. You guys should not pause the video, just complete it. I'm just covering another 2 minutes. You guys have to submit the answer in the comments. Now, if you solve that yourself, you have understood that today's lesson. Now, we didn't memorize logarithms laws today. We proved them. We learned why product rule, quotient rule, and power rule are unavoidable consequences of exponential laws. So exponential laws give us the product rule, the quotient rule, the power rule, exponential rule, right? Then we use those laws exactly the way Cambridge does to solve logarithmic equations. And finally, we saw why checking the domain is just as important as solving the algebra. But we are still not finished with this chapter. Remember the very first equation from part 1, so which was 2 power x equal to 10. We still haven't solved it. We have understood why logarithms exist. We have learned how logarithms behave. Now it's finally time to use them in graphs, etc. Now on Friday, in the third and the final series of this lecture on logs, exponentials, and linearization, we'll complete the entire logarithmic and exponential functions chapter with one of the most beautiful applications in Pure 3. We learn exponential equations, natural logarithms, linearization, how to turn curved graphs into straight lines by changing the axes or transforming the axes, how Cambridge asks these questions every single year, asking interpretation for the parameters, and how this chapter connects directly with differentiation later in paper 3. That final lecture ties together everything you have learned over the last 2 lessons, this lesson and the lesson which was uploaded on Monday. If this lecture genuinely helped you understand logarithms instead of memorizing them, I'd really appreciate it if you left a like and subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comments. Even if you're not enrolled with Easy Talim for your retake in October, November 26, or for your for appearing in your A2 exam in October, November 26 or May, June 27, I want you guys to keep following the series because every lecture stays free on YouTube, because my goal is to help as many Cambridge students as possible to build concepts that actually last. If you're preparing for October, November 26 or May, June 27, you're building your preparation at the right time, right now, on the 1st of July, not just revising or revisiting the topics a few weeks before the exam. That's a mistake. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on Friday, and I'll leave my Instagram handle here for you guys to follow for all the updates, which goes by the name of Easy Talim, EASATALEEM. And you can also reach out to me on my WhatsApp +92329 3028 485. Okay. Now, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on Friday for the final lecture of this chapter. Allah Hafiz.